Hey, Jared.
Yes.
Why did the police arrest the turkey?
Because he wasn't a chicken. I don't know.
They suspected foul play.
Oh, come on. Okay. I was thinking something about the chicken crossing the road, and that didn't apply to this. Never mind.
No. Hey, welcome back to Screen Time, and I'm your host, Josh. But I know people that know some people that rob some people to get this podcast.
Yeah.
This is my co-host, Jared. Do it. Do it.
I thought about that one.
Do it.
Well, it's
Come on,
more like
do it.
It's more like do it. Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
Actually, he says a lot of different ways, but yeah, that's one. Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, Josh. Now in 2 minutes, I want you to grab my guitar, put it in my hands, and then step back.
That's a good one for you.
Yeah.
Because you could actually play it.
Just the way you said, though, that was one of the best lines in the movie.
It was a good one. It was a good one. All right. Today we are talking about the film Starsky and Hutch.
Mm-hmm.
This film came out in 2004, so 1 year later than our last one. So not too much time in between those two as far as release. PG-13, an hour and 41 minutes.
Still good on runtime.
Yeah. Two streetwise cops bust criminals in their red and white Ford Grand Torino with the help of a police snitch called Huggy Bear.
Yeah.
So that's pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Todd Phillips directed, obviously. That's who we've been doing now. He only did the screenplay, him and Scott Armstrong, who've been the duo so far in all the films.
On all three so far?
But there must have been a story already that there was like 3 people credited for the story. I didn't write them down.
Well, it was a TV show.
Correct, but this is...
So it
wasn't any of that. It was like someone must have wrote like I don't know, maybe a book or something. I don't know, something.
Okay.
Like or involved.
So it was no one involved with the old show?
Maybe, I mean, at some point, like the characters related, but like the writing itself. Yeah.
And then the movie too.
Yeah, the cameos. Yeah. Anyway, but they just did the screenplay. Our cinematographer, Barry Peterson, which is different than previously.
Different, yeah.
Yeah. Notable, he did Game Night, which I remember having really interesting cinematography and standout shots of those like miniatures making yeah. And he also did the newer Dungeons and Dragons movie, which also I remember having some creative stuff.
Yeah.
And just another notable 21 Jump Street, like the newer one, which is a good comedy as well. But at the same time, there was nothing in this that like I felt like was like.
There was. I think I have like one thing. Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons, that movie, way better than I thought it was.
Way better than it should have been.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought it was going to be horrible.
Great, but it's just like way better than it.
The bar is very low for that movie.
Music, Theodore Shapiro, which is the same dude from last time.
Yep. Severance guy. Yeah. That's all. It's like the main thing because it's just.
Yeah.
It's just like, incredible. But like everything else he's done is like comedies and nothing like super standout. At least that I've heard so far. But
estimated production cost of $60 million.
Yeah. So I mean, this.
Yeah, the cast.
The time period in the cast. It adds a lot, I guess.
Yep. So, speaking of the cast, we have Ben Stiller, Owen Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Fred Williamson, Vince Vaughn, Juliette Lewis, Jason Bateman, Amy Smart, Carmen Electra, George Chuang, Chris Penn, Brandy Roderick, Molly Sims, Matt Walsh, Patton Oswalt, Terry Crews, and Will Ferrell. Did I miss anybody?
Nope. You got them all.
All right. So, had you seen this film before?
Yeah, I think only once.
Okay.
What about you?
I don't think so.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I'm like I don't remember most of the movie, but then I definitely remember the introduction scene of Carmelita and
Amy Smart.
Amy Smart's like cheerleader scene. But it's probably because I just remember it from a trailer or something.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they put that in the trailer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But so like when I got that, I was like, oh, I remember this. But then like
You remember any other scenes?
like most of the film, like the plot, none of that, like I remember really. So I think I did not see this film.
Okay.
And if I did, it was like once a very long time ago.
I think I only remember seeing it once because there was like very few scenes, but they were like, you know, like him, his disguise, and him saying "do it." Like once that scene happened, I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, see, I didn't remember.
There was a couple other tiny things, but yeah, there was a lot that I was like, oh, don't remember this at all. So yeah, I think not like the last two movies we just did. This is not a
well,
we rewatched a lot. Yeah. So
all right. So then, what did you think of this film? Or thoughts on the rewatch?
There was some really funny moments, but like not as much as the last two movies, I would say. Mm-hmm. Overall, as a comedy, I didn't think it was as funny.
Right.
But there's still some like pretty high moments that I liked. And the plot was pretty good. And like I said, it's still in that runtime where if it would have been any longer, it would have definitely dragged. But I think it was okay. And it was fun. I just don't think, it's not as funny as the last two. So
okay,
that's kind of my main thing.
I would agree.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, first time watching it, I think I kind of agree with your points. Like overall plot was fine. Like, I mean, it was.
Oh no, basic, and I love the 70s.
Yeah, so the time period thing kind of makes it cool.
I've never seen the original show, so I don't.
Me neither.
I mean, I know like kind of what it's about, and they kind of capture that obviously in this, but
yeah, I think, and then the funny moments. Yeah, there's some good funny moments, but then it's like not, like you said, it's not as funny as the other. I feel like
it's not as consistent.
Yeah. I feel like, and let's say it's like I feel like they're not as they feel like characters playing characters, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it being like they are the characters. From an acting
standpoint. Just doesn't seem like as natural.
I think, and
I can see that.
And with for Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, and those guys are, I mean, they're great and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not. I think it's just either a stylistic choice or something. I don't know, but and I don't know if it's because they were trying to be more like the people from the TV show, which we've never seen.
Probably, but also I would say it's like with them two in particular, it's they kind of are like fitting into a very like stereotypical role, both of them. And I think that kind of plays into what you're talking about, where it doesn't stand out quite as much, because Ben Stiller's like the traditional like I'm not, nothing else matters, I'm just always working, I'm always on the case.
Mm-hmm.
And then Owen Wilson's like the one that's like, no, we don't need to take this quite as seriously.
Yeah.
And he's kind of more just, which is great for a cop duo, which I have a note about that we can get into later. But, that's you've seen tons of movies and shows like that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of plays into it.
Yeah, I do. I think it's a little miscasting on Ben Stiller. I think is what. So I think what do
you think would be better?
Someone that was more naturally that straight guy, like like I think he's too much of a goof, like normally weird person, and I think you need somebody like. So I mean, I know age wise, I don't know, but like Dwight Schrute, that actor,
Rainn Wilson, yeah,
that's his name, yeah. Like I think he could have done that and still.
Yeah, but he wouldn't look like the part, though.
Right? No,
but you're right. I guess personality-wise,
I think he could pull off where he's still funny.
Yeah.
Even though he's trying to be like by the book, right?
Yeah.
like you need somebody that can do that.
Well, it's like, yeah, I don't know who the actor would be, but it's basically like Mel Gibson in Lethal Weapon.
Right.
It's very much that. I was trying to think
yeah, which is just you need somebody that's a little bit more of a not so goofy, and he's like,
but he kind of needs to be like a macho tough guy, but he's not really that either in this. So it's kind of weird. Like he plays in the stereotype, but also at the same time, yeah, he kind of flies off the handle, like you said, a lot in this movie. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I'd be curious to see how they are in the show. Yeah, if they're just trying to emulate that, like you said.
Yeah. Well, let's get into a little bit. So speaking of the TV show,
mm-hmm.
I just had a note here. It ran from 75 to 79. That's when it actually aired. And as we mentioned, it kind of alluded to earlier, towards the end, we get cameos from the original.
Yeah.
Those two guys that play.
Which, like, I figured it was them, and they, but like, I've never seen them. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm assuming this is them. I've never seen the show, but yeah.
But yeah, they show up and it's good.
Kind of a lot of parallels to Fall Guy. I was gonna say Free Guy. That's a different movie.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
the Fall
Guy, where they had the
yeah. It's not really a spoiler. I mean, it's
at the end.
Yeah, it's
they have like a
because that was a show too. Probably also in the 70s.
I don't know.
I think.
I don't think it was as big of a show.
No, it wasn't. But yeah. And so yeah, kind of that same thing. They show up at the end.
What's one of your notes about this?
Well, I'll just say about them as like a cop duo. I thought their dynamic between each other was really good. And again, like these two actors are great. I mean, it could have been some of the other like bigger actors from around this time in the 2000s. I mean, you could even think of not Road Trip as much, but Old School, because there's a lot of the same people, right,
mm-hmm.
that are in this too. And they always do really well playing off each other. But, I mean, honestly, it could have even just been the Wilson brothers. Like, I was thinking that even.
Yeah,
maybe they wanted to avoid that because that would have taken you out some if it was like, oh, they're actually
maybe
brother. I don't know. But,
but
I like their dynamic with each other in this. Was good. That was some of the good comedy was them playing off each other. And for this type of movie, which has been done a lot, whether it's serious or in a comedic way, is like really important for like a buddy cop, kind of movie. So,
yeah, I think their dynamic when they almost like when they weren't doing the cop stuff as much because there was better.
Yeah.
And I think that's like I was saying earlier, I think that's where just when they're trying to be like Ben Stiller's part, like I just don't see him as that guy that's trying to be by the book. And so I think it struggles a little bit there, but when they're having, like when they're trying to hit on, like from your quote, like trying to hit on the girls or whatever like the dance off scene, like like that's,
I knew about that too.
Yeah, that scene was hilarious. That whole thing was hilarious and great. But again,
you're right. It is most of the funnier stuff was when they're not actually doing the case. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Let's go to the cheerleaders. So. Well, I haven't known. So, like I said, I distinctly remember that shot of the.
I'm sure it was in the trailer, like you said,
probably in the trailer. But also I just it was cool to see Amy Smart like them work with her again. And
we're talking about how she was big around this time. Yeah,
but man, I completely forgot about Carmen Electra.
Me too.
I was like, oh wait. She used to be popular. Mm-hmm. People used to think she's hot.
I saw her in this, and I was like,
oh, I completely forgot about that lady.
Well, at first I had to like think about, like, is that Carmen Electra? And then I thought, oh yeah, I guess she was. This would have been around the same time. Where she would have been pretty big.
Maybe tail end. I want to say.
So more in the 90s.
Because I feel like she was popular in the 90s, and this might be like because she was, what was she? She was on like an MTV show or something that was like a host or something. That's where she got popular from. And then she tried to break into acting.
Movies,
and she was in a few movies,
but not. I don't think
it probably trailed off by the mid 2000s, and then like became. I don't know, who knows what she's doing now.
Yeah, I haven't seen her.
Yeah,
in forever. So yeah, I have no idea.
But yeah, I was like, it was like a flash of like, oh,
yeah,
which is weird because I didn't feel that way about Amy Smart when we saw her first in the road trip movie, but
yeah, but she's more of an actor too, because like even though both of them in this, I mean, there's really no depth to them at all,
right?
Like on
for
purpose.
The role, yeah.
And so I don't really even know if Carmen Electra could have more depth, like in her acting.
Right.
But Amy Smart, we know can.
I think she can.
You think Carmen Electra could?
No, I said
okay.
No, I said I think she cannot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because I feel like once I was like, oh yeah, she couldn't act. Like that's no. This never went anywhere.
It's just like who am I thinking of? Although she was on a lot because I forgot about Baywatch. I'm thinking of like Pamela Anderson.
Oh right,
kind of the same thing, but. I guess I haven't watched Baywatch in a while, but I imagine she was probably pretty bad.
The acting was pretty bad. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Well,
I think in general but that wasn't the point, right?
That's true. Yeah,
but
that show, didn't they try to take that show seriously too, though? Even though the acting was bad.
Oh yeah,
that's what I thought.
It wasn't a comedy.
No, but it was. Yeah. So she kind of has the same thing as her. I think.
I do like that it's like they kept showing back up, and even at the end they were there, and like it's like they knew those guys were cops, so they weren't worried about, like, it's like they knew the cover. So it was good. That was another good line where he's like, which one do you want to go for? And he's like, more of a blonde. He's like, oh yeah, I'd take either one, or I'll take anything.
That was a good response.
I'll take anything. That
whole scene is probably the best, like, well, besides one other thing we'll get to, but that whole scene, because that's a scene that has my quote in it, but also, a lot of the different interactions. Because I think actually that's also when they go into the kitchen. And he's like, which one? And he's like,
can I speak to you in the kitchen, please?
Yes.
And then he's like trying to find the sugar.
Oh yeah,
and then of course he ends up with the cocaine.
Yeah. That was probably one of the best scenes.
Yeah.
For the comedic stuff in this movie. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What else he got? Just do it. Do it. Do it.
That's the thing I remember the most is that, and like his disguise. And I just remember him dressed up like that.
I got a wig guy.
Yeah. And him saying that line, but I didn't remember why he was dressed up like that, and like that whole thing, like leading up to it. You already mentioned, I have a note about the dance-off scene at the club. I think that was another good scene.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how right afterwards, when Owen Wilson's trying to like get Ben Stiller to sleep, and Ben Stiller's like, I was robbed. He's like, I know.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah. Well, it's
Oh, and actually, right after that, he goes down there with the two girls. And he's like, it's just so funny, his interaction. Like, well, he's like, I don't know. What are we gonna do now? It's just right. That's right after he went to sleep. Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which is, okay. Because I'm trying to think how that works out. Because they come back to their house.
Mm-hmm.
The whole scene we just mentioned plays out, but then
they start there,
and then he gets
to go,
cocaine. He's like, let's do something.
And then
they go to the club,
and then
they come
he
back.
passes out because he shoots his gun off, and then they take him back and put him to bed, and the two girls are there, and
and then that whole chunk is good, because actually I'm just thinking now, when he wakes up too, he's cooking breakfast. What does he say? He says something
with the hanger, and then he's like, yeah, we tested the cocaine or something about, and
that's
like,
what it was.
He said something like, and then each of the girls' names, they also agree, and then it was kind of like, he was like, wait, what? You're hanging out with both of them without me? So, well, so then a couple of the other scenes that I liked,
Mm-hmm.
the mime,
Yeah.
the mime scene was kind of funny, but like more so. I mean, it was funny, but then more so like then the ending where he ends up shooting the pony at the bar mitzvah, or the not the bar mitzvah, the because it was his daughter's thing. It's not called it's called something else, isn't it? I think it's called. I think it's called something else.
Is it
for a girl? Yeah.
Well, anyway, but yeah, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like that. Yeah, because he's shooting. He's trying to shoot the garage, like to unlock it, and it's. Yeah. Yeah, that part was good. And that's the scene with the band again, because I think you read in the trivia.
Right. It's the same band.
Yeah.
From the wedding and
from the last movie.
Mm-hmm. And then also the role of Snoop Dogg in this. He only agreed to do the.
That's right. Yeah.
He only agreed to do the role in Old School if he could play.
And you wanted to be like a main part.
Yeah, you wanted to be this part. Yeah, in this. Yeah. So, the stuff with Will Ferrell and them pretending to be a dragon.
Yeah,
that stuff was funny.
That was my other.
That was hilarious.
The scenes with Big Earl. Yeah, Will Ferrell. Yeah.
Well, also when they go to the biker bar and then they like argue about. He's like, well, I'm not big. I'm only 5'8" or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I look like I'd be Big Earl?
And that was good because the way they explain it, it's like that is very true with a name like that. You know, it's like he's not huge, but it could also be like tiny. You know, or like the opposite. You like there's like a nickname of tiny, and the guy's like massive. You know, so he's like, and he's not that either. He's just average. Yeah,
he's like, I'm just average.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I liked how his car basically got a respect with people. Like there was like 3 times, and when they like saw his car and like, oh, you just went up a notch, or
everyone loves the car. Yeah. So seeing Will Ferrell in this also, just like with the last movie, Old School, you're exactly right. Where it's like no matter what kind of character he's playing, this was like when he was good Will Ferrell. Not like now how you were talking about how he's just like he's like trying too hard now with it.
Yep.
Because he does so many different characters. Even in this, I would say this whole decade, the 2000s was probably like the best of Will Ferrell. And he does so many different types of roles. Because I even think of like the first one I remember actually is the first Austin Powers, and that would have been
who does number 2 work for?
It's at the beginning when he because I don't know who he's playing, but he has this like crazy accent, and then he's the one that gets burned, and he's like, I'm still alive down here. Yep. Yeah, and he does all that.
Yep.
And that I think that was 99 or 2000.
Like, I'm gonna try to stand up and walk.
Yeah.
Oh no, there goes my other leg.
I'm not dead. I'm just very badly burned. Yeah.
Because he gets burned, but then he like falls off the cliff in that little car that they do. Like, That's when he breaks his legs or breaks one leg, and then.
So that's one of the first things I remember him doing, just like a random role, because I don't think he was in that movie much, but. And that would have been 99 or 2000, I think.
Probably
when it came out around then. So, yeah, it's like the 2000s decade. I think was when he was the best. But I don't know what he could do now to just don't try as hard. I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing now. That's just not good anymore.
Well, I think it's like you get to a certain age and you can't. I feel like it's harder to act like you're just as immature, like buffoon.
I think at this point he just needs to do only serious roles.
So then he's trying to pretend to be something instead of before it was probably just natural. He was just like,
he needs to go to his next phase of his career.
Correct.
Because we know he's a good actor, so it's like just do serious roles. And if you're in a good movie, you do this really good serious role, people will like you. And it's like there's plenty of actors that have done that have done different shifts in their acting. I think one of the best is Robin Williams. There was, I think I want to. Oh, actually, I think we did it on when we were doing film banter. I think we even did this movie. 'Cause I never heard of it, but it was a very serious Robin Williams movie. And he's incredible in it, and it's really dark. It's called 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah, I think Have you seen that? I mean, a long time ago, but yeah,
dude, it's really good.
So
he was great in it.
Yeah, I feel like he pretty much had like the last decade or so of his life, like he had switched mostly to doing
more serious. Yeah,
like I don't think he was doing much comedy, if any.
No, he might have went back a little bit because I think this was also around early 2000s, so there might have been a little bit more. Like, I don't remember when there was like those weird movies like Flubber and, some of the other stuff he did that was kind of maybe more in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like you can do that. Will Ferrell just needs to do that. Yeah. I feel like at this point.
Yeah. Because even Jim Carrey has mostly done that as well, other than like his more recent role with the Sonic movies.
Did you see the show he did?
I did not.
Called Kidding?
I did not see it, but I know what you're talking about.
He's incredible in that, and he's basically playing Mr. Rogers in it. And yeah, so that's another great example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got? Dude, the kid with the knives. That scene when they
I forgot about that. That was really quick. Yeah, when it's just out of nowhere. Yeah,
and then they're like, "Oh, he's not a kid; he's a small man." And he's like, "No, that's my son.
That's my son." Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
So see, like we're pointing out these scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some really good, funny stuff in this, but you know what I mean, where it's like it's not as consistent.
Correct.
Because I feel like there's a lot of sections where I didn't laugh at all.
I agree.
And
then it's and I think those sections, they're not interesting from a character development or story plot development. So it's just so like, because you can have a movie where it's, if you have a really good story and characters, and then you have just funny moments here and there, and you can make that work. But this is more of like the style where it just needs to be funny, mostly. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. So we got two more. So
the only thing I have is the cameos at the end, which we already talked about. That's my last note.
So so have a note when they're interrogating the other cheerleader in the like locker room.
Oh,
I think any man can sympathize with this.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what your train of thought is.
Yeah.
If the woman suddenly is naked in front of you, you lose all train of thought.
Yeah, it's going to be a little hard to question. Yeah, like they did. They did that well. Yeah.
They did that really well. Mm-hmm. And I just want to point that out. And it was very funny, I thought.
I liked at the end too, where she's like, she says something like, "I didn't help them much," and they're like, "Oh no, you did great." Yeah,
because she's also. They asked her how much she weighs, and she's like, "What does that have to do?"
And they're like, "No, it's important." She looked kind of familiar, but I don't know. Has she?
I don't know either. Like I agree with you a little bit, but then I couldn't find her on the.
It was just okay. So it wasn't really someone that's really been in much else. Okay.
Yeah. Thing was the other, I didn't actually, but Molly Sims is another like from that time that was
Molly Sims.
Like she's not in this as much. She was in a lot of stuff in the like 90s.
Who did she play in this?
She's I think she plays the bad guy's wife. So you only see her a couple times because then normally he's with the mistress. Which is
Julia Lewis. Yeah, that's the one I remember. Yeah.
Which is the funny stuff because the other is like she's like serious and she's like blonde and
okay, I do remember. Yeah, like when they go over to the house. So it's him and he's pretty much always Vince Vaughn's with Jason Bateman.
Yeah,
that's another great role. Like he's so weird in this. Yeah, Vince Vaughn's just Vince Vaughn again.
Yes.
But Jason Bateman's he's very weird in this. But
just I remember her from there was like that show that was on for a couple seasons where it was like Las Vegas, I think is what it was just called.
Oh, that's her?
I'm pretty sure that's the same actress.
I remember watching that show.
Yeah.
Okay.
this
Like the main
main
blonde girl.
well, the owner or the guy that managed the place.
His daughter. Okay, yeah. Oh, I guess that is her.
I'm pretty sure that's her.
That would have been around the same time. I want to say. Yeah.
But again, she's kind of like, I don't know, disappeared or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes, and I say like some women decide, hey, I'm going to have some kids. I'm not going to act for a while because I'm going to.
Yeah, but also if you're on a show for that, because I want to say that show Las Vegas was on a long time, and
I don't know. Was it?
At least like 5 seasons, and back then it was like 20 some episodes every season.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so like if she wanted to step after that, she probably was still making enough money off of royalties just from that. You know, if she wanted.
True.
You know, if you're, because it's like if she was a main on that,
Right.
so I imagine literally
or at least for her
almost every
first couple
episode.
seasons, because she might have become more sided like later seasons. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've watched it.
I was thinking also, so this was 2004. This would have also been Jason Bateman, right? Like during Arrested Development, right? The
Probably.
original
Sounds about
Arrested
right.
Development
Sounds about right.
run.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. Shout out Arrested Development.
Exactly. Not when they brought it back later.
No.
It was,
I was literally just talking about that. Like,
and they did like 2 more seasons, didn't they?
yes, I
It's
know.
awful.
And then I also when I was talking about it, I'm like, I don't even know if I watched the 5th season that got released on Netflix, because the 4th season was kind of like so.
I watched it all, and I remember the very last one they did was even worse.
Yeah, that's kind of what I heard. I think, and then I just kind of like I was like, well, I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah.
But season 1 through 3 is
Oh,
fantastic. Yeah. So then the car jump at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, okay.
He's so confident.
Yeah. Well,
He's like, this is what we're going to
they
do.
build it up, but it's also not just that, but like a movie like this would have, because it is, so they would have them make it and land on the thing and save the day.
Probably did happen in the show, I bet.
Yeah.
They probably did something like that.
But and then he's like trying to, like, he goes diving for the car like
Oh, yeah.
like a couple times because he loves his car so much.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that was pretty funny.
That was good.
That was
Yeah.
a good scene.
Yeah, and I like the I guess it's the very opening of the movie. Yeah, with Vince Vaughn and Juliette Lewis. It's just her interaction with him. It was just great.
Yep.
And it's funny because like I think I said it on the last episode that she was probably one of the biggest actresses, because she did a lot of big movies in the 90s too.
Yeah.
So at this point, but it's great that they brought her back for just a small role again, like the last movie.
Yeah, and it seems like she's, both of them seem like she's having fun. I feel like it's almost like she's got to be like friends with somebody.
Probably.
I don't know. Yeah, sometimes.
If not the director, then
yeah, somebody.
Yeah, some of these actors that are in these 2 movies, which is, yeah, maybe Vince Vaughn. I don't know. I'm trying to think who else is. Will Ferrell, maybe. Yeah, the crossovers between the last 2 movies. Yeah.
The only other note in this section, or this, once again, and I'm saying they need to bring this back.
Okay.
The outtakes and things,
Yeah.
in the alternate takes of things and the credits again.
I agree.
And it's always fun to do that. And I feel like they've gotten away from that lately. Though again, we said this recently, but Hitman had it.
Hitman did it. Yeah.
But like,
Let's do it more.
Let's
Yeah.
bring it back. Let's bring it back.
I agree. Especially because now, which is weird, because like, unless it's a Marvel movie, people will sit through the whole credits, in a Marvel movie, but
Right.
like people are kind of trained to do that anyway. So at least like put something in there so if they do want to stay, or so they don't get up right away. I would say also the Fall Guy did it, which was cool.
Yes, yeah.
But that was more just like behind the scenes, kind of looking and
so
showing.
you'd see
like,
how they do the stunts
Yeah.
for real, and
but I mean, that's still
kinda
cool.
giving that credit. Yeah, no, I agree. It's good.
So maybe it is coming back slowly.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So you said you had a note on the cinematography. I mean, from my perspective, it was like all competently filmed and shot.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything like standing out as like, oh, that was different or cool or creative. Obviously I think they did a great job of trying to make it feel like it was shot in the 70s, which that's part of the goal here. So, you're not gonna try to do something that's a little bit. You got to make sure it feels like that, which means you got to mimic the filming techniques and things like that of that period. So I think they did a great job of that.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my note is there. It was. I mean, in my note I put there was kind of a little more style in general to it, but that lends itself to making it feel like it was in the 70s,
right,
or even filmed in the 70s. And the main thing that really stuck out to me that I know a lot of movies, probably even in the show, Starsky and Hutch, did this as well, where like, I'm trying to think which scene in this movie they did it. I think Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson are like peeking out from like, I don't know, behind a wall or something. It's a really far away shot, but it does a really long zoom into then. Like that's a very 70s thing.
That's true.
That's what stuck out to me. And I like that, but I like a lot of 70s movies anyway. So that's the main thing that jumped out to me, which I like, even though I guess, I don't know, you could say it's cheesy, but I think it's cool because it reminds me of that decade. But,
no, it's, I mean, it was probably very intentional, so it feels like it was filmed at the time.
I don't know if it's something you would do. Like, is that a stylistic choice you would do?
Not unless I was trying to mimic that time period.
Okay.
Because I don't think it fits in modern techniques, but
is there a way to modernize that but still kind of do it in that way? That would be interesting.
I mean, I guess nowadays you would do, if you were doing,
or if you like blocked it in a certain way, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays you would do like.
Well, no, because I guess if you're doing a long zoom, that would be.
So what you would do, I mean, in general, I mean, obviously you can do whatever. It's all creative decisions, but like I feel like the now time would be like the quick, where it's almost like it's like a cut, like you show it and then you show and then you cut. And then post, you're just using like a quick, almost like punch zoom with motion blur. So it's like
talking about the Succession thing.
Those
quick zoom ins.
Yeah,
they do in like faces.
Yeah,
because I like that too. That's cool.
That's probably like more. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're mimicking like documentary style a little bit to make.
That's true.
That feel like that, but yeah, that's kind of closer to what I'm talking about.
Okay. I don't know though. I kind of like it's like a slow zoom in really far.
Yeah,
it's a cool idea.
What was like when they're like, "Hey, we can zoom." Let's.
Yeah, and then they just did it as slow as possible.
Because what you would do if you were going to do that, you would dolly, you wouldn't zoom.
Oh,
and you'd have like the prime focal, like the length, and it wouldn't change the focal.
But this definitely was a zoom though, not a dolly.
Yes.
Yeah. The dolly would look better, though, is what you're saying.
Arguably.
Okay.
It would look more natural to the eye because you're not changing. Your eye doesn't change.
I feel like it'd be more steady too, right?
Yes.
Or it'd feel more. Yeah.
But because your eye doesn't change, right? Like your field of view doesn't change. You just move yourself. You take steps closer or you take steps further, and that's what you're doing when you're dialing in and out of things. Like, and so it feels more natural to the viewer, that kind of movement versus the zoom, which the zoom your eye doesn't do, right? So, so I think that's why it's become the more standard way to do it, because it feels more natural. But I mean, and then people do it with gimbals. They do it with whatever different other things that have different kind of movement. But
I thought about one other show that I saw that actually did it recently. That I thought was cool, but again, I think the show wasn't set in the 70s, but I think it was a 70s creative choice because the color grading and the film grain that was on it too made it seem like it was shot in the 70s.
Okay.
But it was set in like modern or like maybe 2000s. But did you ever watch the show Homecoming on Amazon? Sam Esmail did it.
Yes, I did not. Well, I've not watched it. I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah,
he did that a lot, and I don't know about the second season because I don't remember, but the first season, I think he'd even do it while the credits are going at the end too, which I thought was really cool. And it'd be really long, and then it would just start zooming into someone that was really far away, you know, while the credits started. It's a cool thing he did in that. Anyway, that's the only thing I can think of that was more recent that did that. Yeah, that was it though. For cinematography.
Yeah, what about music?
No, I mean, it's funny. The thing that stuck out the most was it was just a lot of wah effect guitar, like just going, and they're just muting and using a wah, which like is very 70s. But it's just funny. It was like almost every cue. Like I heard that a lot in it, and I mean that was the main thing that stuck out to me. But
and I imagine part of it is because they're trying to mimic the style the TV show was.
Yeah, probably very similar. Yeah.
So like it's probably more of a you're trying to create something inspired by that versus what you would just make, right?
Mm-hmm. But there wasn't any like standout cue or like specific melody or anything that in this. It's funny though. It's like with comedy movies.
Mm-hmm.
Normally that's the case. I'm trying to think. Do you like a movie that's just a comedy? Can you think of one that's like has like an incredible score? Because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not really normally the point in those kind of movies anyway.
Very true. Very true. Also, same with the
cinematography.
Like,
yeah.
You're normally going for.
Although you said Game Night had some.
Yes, it did.
I haven't seen that movie in a while, but and this was the same cinematographer.
Correct.
Okay.
So let's
trivia?
do some trivia.
All right.
Writer and director Todd Phillips was having a hard time finding a bluish 1976 Lincoln for Huggy Bear. When he revealed this to Snoop Dogg, he was surprised to learn that Snoop actually owned a car of the right color. And
of course he did.
It's his car, and he appeared and his car appeared in the movie.
We didn't really talk about Snoop Dogg. I mean, he was fine in this. Like,
yeah, he was Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, he was
actually
Snoop Dogg.
His best scene, and now that was with the grass on the golf course.
Oh yeah,
when he says,
you're right.
He's like, "This is this grass and not that grass. It's a little lighter." He's like, "Man, you know a lot about golf." He's like, "I know even more about grass."
Yeah,
and that was like the best.
That was good.
Best line. Vince Vaughn slapped Snoop Dogg during the golfing scene. It was unexpected the first time. Snoop went on with the scene, and then when it ended, he said, "What was that?"
You know what? I remember watching that scene, and that did look very convincing, that slap. So
I wonder if it was real.
Yeah, he didn't mean to, and it just happened. And
Ben Stiller went to stunt driving school and did well, but he still wasn't approved to do all his driving stunts.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple times you could see when they're driving, it's like, this is definitely not them in the car.
Originally, Todd Phillips wanted the knife throwing scene to feature ninja stars instead. But the idea was scrapped when learning that any scene featuring ninja stars would automatically get an 18 rating in the UK.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Didn't know that. Why? Is it just more like graphic? Throwing stars?
I mean, UK. I don't know. This British people.
Those dang Brits. Yeah.
The scene. I forgot about this scene. The scene where Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson's characters are just wearing their holsters and the little towels. Mm-hmm. That was a funny like reveal when
because you don't know, and then until the end, right after he says those are hand towels. Yeah,
they show the wide.
They show it, yeah,
and you're like, oh,
yeah, it was good.
This is a good reveal. That came straight from a poster from the original TV show where they were doing the same thing.
Okay.
filming the yacht scene with Vince Vaughn, Todd Phillips became very seasick and mentioned that he hated boats, and that's why he included one in the screenplay. He vowed never to write or shoot a scene on boats again. So we'll have to see if that stays true.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see if that stays true.
I mean, a lot of these movies are like road trip movies, like
Yeah.
even coming up. So yeah, no boats.
So the song Owen Wilson sings "Don't Give Up on Me, Us Baby"
Mm-hmm.
is released in 1977 and sung by David Soul, who played Ken Hutchison on Starsky Hutch.
Oh, that's a cool connection.
Will Ferrell did all his scenes in one day,
Oh yeah,
which
I figured.
Yeah, that's pretty.
They look like it was probably one take. Because you know the way those scenes kind of go on, it's like he's just going.
Yeah,
it's not. There's no script, and then they just were like,
yeah, because
just
you see
decided
some
when
of the
to cut it.
outtakes. Because
Oh,
in the credits, because Owen Wilson has his bare foot up on the glass.
That's right.
So they're just
Yeah. Like at the end, he's like, I'm
riffing on
gonna
things.
warn you guys, this is gonna get real weird. when he asked him again to do something.
8 to 10 seconds of the three-way kiss had to be cut to secure the PG-13 rating.
Okay. Those ratings are so weird with that.
And I bet you there's an unrated version of this film
probably
on DVD, because that was about
It's a
that
big
time
thing, yeah.
in the 2000s where they would add those scenes
which
back
is
in.
dumb, which means that's probably the only thing that's like
That's
added.
probably like it's probably like they added those because all they
Just to sell
all they have to
another
do is
DVD.
add a little bit in,
Yeah.
and then it's no
Change
longer
the cover a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't have
the
to
look.
mean it needs to have nudity or anything.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to have anything violent, like nothing
so
to actually
weird.
make it rated R. It just has to have stuff that wasn't in the original, so then it is no longer approved by the rating
Yeah.
to be unrated. But it was like a gimmick that they used to
It
sell
was.
stuff. I'm sure one of the first few that did it intentionally with like and actually added some a lot of stuff in. But then later it became like a
I know. I remember
Gimmick for sure.
that being a big thing.
yeah. The shot of Vince Vaughn throwing Juliette Lewis off the yacht, which is in the credits,
Mm-hmm.
was originally included in the film, but test audiences seemed to disapprove. So that's how it originally was scripted, I guess.
Yeah, to go back to you're saying the ratings thing, it's so weird, like, to keep it in those parameters, especially between PG-13 and R, because I don't know about it this time, but I think even now it's like, to keep it PG-13, it's like you can only say the F word once.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's still a thing now. So even if it's more than once, then it goes to R right away.
Mm-hmm.
Like even with just language. And then with stuff like that, I guess it's like, so if that just went on a couple more seconds, then it'd be R with the three-way kiss, which is crazy.
So Vince Vaughn originally was set to play Ken Hutchison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think he could have done it. I think that's the role that's easier to find.
Yeah. What about if Vince Vaughn was Starsky and then Owen Wilson was still Hutch, and then it'd just be like Wedding Crashers.
Right.
Because their dynamic is great.
Yeah. But
I think
still,
Vince Vaughn could still do
you
the...
think the straight shooting? Yeah, Vince Vaughn playing a straight shooter? By the book? I don't know. So
he might be a little too joking.
They used about 10 Ford Grand Torinos were totaled during the production.
There's your budget also then.
The Finkel character disguise at the auction was a gag that was continued from the Ben Stiller show, and he was originally going to use it in Zoolander, but he used it here
Okay.
after, because Zoolander was 2001, so this was after. Before you see Huggy Bear the first time, the instrumental is playing as Nothing But a G Thing.
Nice.
Bradley Cooper auditioned for the role of Kevin Jutzman.
Well, he'll be coming up here soon.
This is the
Is that-
sixth time that Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller worked together
Yeah.
in this film.
Is that next? Is Hangover next?
Mm,
Oh no, I think there is another one right before The Hangover.
yeah.
Hold on, I had our list in. School for Scoundrels,
Mm-hmm.
and then The Hangover. Okay, I knew it was coming up soon.
All right. So,
Do you know
final
anything
thoughts.
about School for Scoundrels?
No, I don't.
I don't either. All I know is the Napoleon Dynamite guy's in it,
Yeah, which is, man,
and Billy Bob Thornton, maybe.
I don't know. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Any final thoughts on this film?
No.
No. Where in the world's Carmen Electra?
Good question. Write in if you know where she is.
Yeah. Tell us.
Maybe you've seen her in the wild. Let us know.
No, yeah. Let us know any thoughts you have
Yeah.
on this film. You agree, disagree with us on things. You can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment on the video or DM on Instagram. If you want to follow me or follow Jared, I'm at J Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time.